Can we have about 3 more minutes in the interleaved review combined like terms? If you just joined us right now, type your name in the chat box and then look for interleaved review combined like terms in week number 2 folder. Good morning, Nico, Giselle, Brian, Aidan, Nyla, Elisa, Denise, Michaela, Nicholas, Jaylene, LaTroyce, Chris, Sophia, Vincent, Aubrey, Megan, Sophia, I'm sorry, Jessica, Look, Giselle. Right. For the first question, do we just write the letter? Yes, honey. Just write the letter of the correct answer, and it doesn't matter whether it's small or big letter. Good morning, Joshua. All right. Can we have 1 more minute? I strongly suggest in doing warm-ups like this. Just try your very best in the first attempt so you would know um, the things that you're having difficulties in first. And then after that, we'll have a quick Q&A. You can ask me about, an item or two, but hopefully not everything in the warm-up. Then later on, you can actually go back to it and use your second attempt. So that's my plan when I was designing those warm-ups. Okay, it's 9:10. Can I have a little extra time? Okay, can I give you like 2 more minutes right now? Okay, everybody gets 2 more minutes. Um, if you recently joined us, please type your name in the chat box. You're welcome, LaTroyce. I'm pretty sure your classmates will thank you as well for asking. If you just joined right now, please type your name in the chat box so your attendance gets saved. And your classmates, good morning, Richard. And your classmates are doing the interleaved review warm up. We can start now. Um, and do as many as you can in whatever time you have, but you can resume it later if you don't finish. Was the extra 2 minutes enough? Would anybody ask for more time? Okay. What about the others? Did you have enough time? So I just want I just want everybody to know that I value your time and I thank those who are logging in on time. However, even though my My computer is on usually like 5 minutes before or even 10 minutes before. Please do know that I also have to help my 4-year-old to set up. So I leave my computer on so you guys can be in the waiting room. Um, and also, if there's only one in the weight room, and it happened today, for about like 3 minutes, I was just staring at the waiting room, waiting for another third person. Because if there's only like the two of us, I cannot let you in. So I'm so sorry for that. It's just a district policy. It's like having a teacher and a class and a student only in the classroom if you were in the physical room. So please be mindful of such. I will let you in once another person comes in to join us. All right. So at this point, um, I can see that your scores are good. So I see two eights, a nine, another nine, 10, 7, and then another 8. Okay. Some of you, I think, have not submitted it. That's fine. Take your time. Okay. Now, I'm going to maybe help you on just one item. So if you need help, um, we're going to do that right now. I'm just opening the interleave warm up window, and I'm going to share my screen right now so you can see everything that I'm using. Don't worry about the video. I have already minimized my screen. Okay, so now just a quick help. I'll pick, I'll just pick the last one, okay? Number 6. I hope my writing slate works. Okay, there's the ding sound again. So every time you hear that, it means I'm about to write something. So I'm just going to pick number 6. Let me just find where my cursor is at. Okay, so in doing number 6, there's actually two ways. One way is to combine like terms. You know, when you watch videos on combining like terms, sometimes they even have, rainbows like this, right? And then they circle those that have the same like terms. So when we say like terms, they have the same variable, okay? Exactly the same, amount and type of variable. So, for example, y squared. But another way to do that is you can actually arrange them vertically. So if you're more comfortable with that, so you line them up depending on what their variable types are. There you go. So if that's the case, then you can still get the final answer. So you just add the number components, 5, but you do not do anything with the variables. We're not there yet. When we go to spring semester, that's when we will, do some operations regarding the variables. But for combining like terms, it's just going to be bringing down the same. Oh, I lost my cursor. Okay, so it's just going to be bringing down the same variable and exponent. And then take the sign of the bigger number, so plus, and then you bring down the two variables exactly as they are. Okay, so that's another way of combining like terms. I only saw about, I think, 8 or 9 people who submitted it. So I hope that helped a little bit, and hopefully I'll see your results later. Okay, so I'm going to clear the ink. All right, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is, so we can get started on our lesson, um, is to open this file over here, 1.2, solving multi-step equations. So let's do that. It is already open in one of my tabs. I had to do it beforehand before the system slows down. Okay, I think I misspelled multi. Right. So remember, any slides that I put in Schoology, you can download. And if ever you're wondering how you could combine this with your digital notebook, um, on Mondays, on rotating Mondays, We will be discussing how to do that maybe um, for the next week or so, because I get a lot of questions about how to do the digital notebook. But pretty much, if you go to File, right, and Import, you can actually combine these with your personal copy of the digital notebook. So the first thing you have to do is, let's say if you are in the digital notebook, you go to the page where you want these slides to be inserted after. So if you want this to be page 9, then you go to page 8. So all these three will go after page 8. And then you just click on File and then Import Slides, and it will give you an option to import from your drive. So since when you download these, they are already saved in your drive, then you can just, find them in your drive and just click and then just press select right there. Okay, so that's the fastest way to do it. Another way to do it is you duplicate a slide and then you copy the contents entirely. Okay, but feel free to move them, resize them. So once I give them to you, they're your copies. Okay. All right. So I also put here some helpful pointers on combining like terms. Okay. So just in case you needed some visuals. Also in Schoology, I added a slide to my digital notebook. I think I was lacking in terms of reminding you of whether there is a Delta Math homework or not. And I realized that because of the difficulty in schedule where we meet the odds and evens every other day, I adjusted some deadlines. So let's say, for example, some of you are not in Delta Math yet. If you don't know how to join, please, um, you know, go to the slide later in this digital notebook where you can see the code for Delta Math and how to join. And I adjusted the deadline for 1.1 homework. So if I assign homeworks, let's say this week, I'll probably like wait until the Monday after so all the periods even out. So I just realized that those who I meet first, in the week have that advantage because they can do their homework right away. But those who I have to meet later in the week are at disadvantage. So what I did was I just kind of evened out the playing field just so everybody would have the weekend to catch up. So all the things I assigned this week are now due the following Monday, like Monday next week. Okay? So that means for those of you who have done 1.1, you can now do 1.2. But for those who are just joining Delta Math now, you have two homeworks due already, Monday. Okay, so now let's move on to our lesson. Our lesson today is on solving multi-steps equations. And since you have the notes already, you can actually get started if you guys know um, how to do them. So let me just pull up the, okay. Mhm. All right. Come on, honey. Gotta work. We have work to do. Come on, load, load, load. Alrighty. So first, what does multi-step equation or solving multi-step equations mean? So just like what we did yesterday, we have to isolate the variable. Okay, and in the process of isolating the variable, we use properties of equality. I gave you that independent work of properties of equality yesterday. If you haven't done so, please make sure you do that by this week. Okay, so what we're going to do is show the work on the left-hand side and then write down the reasons on the next column. So here, you want to get the x by itself, and since negative 13 and 2.5 are in the way, you have to remove the negative 13 first, right? And just like what I mentioned last time, we have to get used to writing them horizontally, okay? So instead of writing like 13 underneath, okay, we can do negative or 2.5x minus 13 plus 13 is equal to 2 plus 13, okay? Now, when you get to the next chapter, when the objective is just solving, you can actually skip the step that I'm writing. But this chapter, the goal is to be able to write down the properties and writing down the statements. Excuse me. So we gotta be specific about this. So the reason for the first step is given, and since we added a number to both sides, so that's your clue, you're going to put addition, property of equality. I'm sorry, but I gotta use some shortcuts here because I don't have enough space. So what should you be doing when I'm doing this on the screen? Either you're copying this on a piece of paper, or just pay attention if that's your way of learning, and then when I'm done, just take a picture and then you catch up on the notes later. Or if you're comfortable typing on the slides as we go, you can do that as well. All right. So I had a student who said yesterday that um, she had the Zoom on another device and then the slide in another one, so she could type and view at the same time. So whichever works for you. Okay, so now um, these two are opposites or inverses. So that means they're going to cancel out, right? So we get 2.5x, and this will become 15. So since these two are opposites, we're going to put additive inverse. That's one of the properties in the list of 20 that I gave you last time. Some students would say, oh, just cancel them out because they're opposites. That's a good reason too. However, when you are, choosing the correct answer from among choices in a standard test, um, canceling won't appear. So you have to know, the correct terminology for that. And then what are you going to do here? You're going to divide both sides by 2.5. So there you go. And you get your answer. So can somebody type the answer in the chat? So when you divide both sides, this will be division property of equality. All right, so anybody in the chat, what's the correct answer? And if you guys already know the answer, I want you to try the second example on your own, and I will be waiting for your answers in the chat box. All right. Okay, so while waiting, please try example number 2. Giselle said 6. Luke agreed with Giselle and said it's also 6. If you guys all agree, let me know. Type your answer in the chat. No, look, it's not. There's nothing wrong about it. Yes, it's okay. It's just my way of making us feel like we're in the classroom, that we kind of hear each other, right? Just gonna be in my imagination. All right. Aiden's calculation said it's 6. Nicholas 6. Nico 6. Um, Giselle A said 6. And Jessica agreed 6. All right. So now I want you to try number 2, the second example. So try the second example. Okay. So work on that on your own. Okay, Luke said 1.5. Is that for the second example? Look, and then Jaylene said it's -9. All right, so those are the possible answers we heard from our classmates. Normally in the classroom, I would say, all right, give me what you got, and it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, there's no right answer until we confirm it, right? Okay. Oh, so Luke got the answer to a different problem. No worries, Luke. Okay. I normally say, yes, your answer is right, but it's right for a different problem. Oh, how we missed the classroom. Giselle Z said it's -9. Okay. More possible answers. Okay, so now may I have somebody to unmute himself or herself and help us how to do the second one? Maybe like explain the steps and I'll try to write them for you. Anybody? How about Jaylene? May I request Jaylene to unmute herself? Or okay, go ahead, Jaylene. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. We divided by 3, both sides, right? That's how I got -9. All right. Very good. And in the future, for everybody, if you guys, let's say, somehow get stuck and you say, Mr. Siaga, I just got the first step, that's okay. And then we'll just wait for somebody to kind of jump in and continue from where we left off. Okay, so remember, like, we're in this together. We're not here to, like, ooh, that's wrong. Ooh, that's not correct, etc. Okay, so let me just provide the reasons for this. So the first one is given. When Giselle said she turned these two terms into 3x, so that's actually just simplifying because she just combined the like terms. When she subtracted, so that's the keyword, she subtracted both sides or 15 from both sides, so that's going to be subtraction property of equality. Maybe you're wondering how your first quiz will be. I'm gonna give you like a worksheet, and it will look like this. You will be solving equations on one side, and then you're gonna type up the properties on the other side. Okay, and then Giselle said she added -12 and -15 together, so that again is simplifying. So when you're just combining like terms or adding and subtracting, then that's simplify. And then the last one is division property of equality. I run out of space, but yeah, because I have my controller. Okay, so division property of equality. Thank you so much, Jaylene. Okay, next. So you guys can now do the third and the fourth, and let's see who can help us with that. Try them out. Whenever you're ready, you can let me know, and we can talk, and then I'll write. And if you guys get bored because you're done, there's another page, so you can actually work on the next page if you want. Anybody ready? Even if not sure, that's fine. Volunteer? So, what must we do with the 2? Feel free to unmute yourself. Giselle. Cool. So you distribute, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to make our rainbows like that. All right. So 2 times 1. Giselle, would you like to continue helping me? Okay. When you did 2x though, you're going to multiply this first. So 2 times 1 is 2. That's for the first rainbow. For the other rainbow, you're right. It's negative 2x. Okay. And then you said plus 3, negative 8. Thank you. Keep going. Okay. So that's a very good beginning. So you multiply this to each of them, but you have to distribute, not like group them together. So 2 minus 2x for the second rainbow plus 3 equals negative 8. Would anybody like to jump in and continue where Giselle left off?
Here's what I did.
Chris, go ahead.
I added 2 plus 3, and then I got 5. Negative 2x equals negative 8. And then I moved the constant, which is 5, over to the 8, so I got negative 2x equals negative 8, and then negative 5.
So
And I added negative 8 and negative 5, and negative 2x equals negative 13, and I divided each side by 2. But I didn't get an answer.
okay, cool. So I just want to emphasize that when Chris said she or he moved the 5 over to the other side, so pretty much that's subtraction property because he subtracted like that. Okay, and you may skip those steps. Those are optional. Just make sure that you're aware of how Chris did it. Oh, I called you Chris instead of Christopher. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yes. So when Chris said, "Oh, I got stuck right there," so don't get intimidated when you see like a number which is not divisible by that. So just divide both sides by 2, and you will get 13 over 2. That's it. And if you will ask me what I prefer, whether it's decimal or fraction, um, you are in my honors class, so I would say use fractions because when you go to algebra 2, that's how it will be even when you go to geometry. I'm not saying they're using fractions all the time, but you should be able to kind of toggle between substituting a fractional or a rational number into an equation. So most of the time I will keep my answers in that form, um, but don't think that you're stuck. You got there. Okay, good job, Chris. And the first one who helped me was Giselle, right? Okay, now let's write down the reasons given. And then Giselle helped me distribute, so that's distributive property. Then Chris, he said he subtracted 5 from both sides, so that's subtraction property of equality. All right. And then, what do you call this? Chris said he simplified the negative 8 into 5. And then the last one is he divided both sides by negative 2. So that's division property of equality. All right. Okay, cool. Next. Next one. I'm watching the chat, and whoever's, you know, if your name pops up, I know you want to help me. Come on, guys. Anybody else? Let's go, Chris. All right, ready when you are.
I guess for the last one, right?
Yep, the one at the bottom.
I guess the first thing I would do is add within the parentheses. So 5, 6, 8, equals 7.
Like you mean these two, 5 and 2 together?
Oh wait, hold
Okay, that's okay. What do you think about distributing 5 to the first parentheses?
on. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. My bad.
No worries.
Okay. And so then can I get a notebook and like write this down?
Oh yeah, sure. No worries. And while waiting, the others could move on to the next page if you can, or if you're done with this one. Okay. So I'm gonna write down the reason here, which is given. And if you guys joined late, I suggest like you take a picture of the screen right now because like in one click of a button, those will all disappear. So how do you guys like having the screencasts in Schoology? Should I continue doing that or no? Like, I mean, if you don't need it, then I should not do that. Instead, just like just so we'll have more time to see each other also. But Mondays won't be Mondays won't be recorded because it's more of like an enrichment or intervention. Okay. Any initial steps, Chris?
Um, so after I moved the 5 over in the first parentheses and added it, I got 7, 3, negative x equals 14. And then kind of like,
Okay.
I was like, oh,
Okay. And you kind of lost me too, honey. So you're saying like you did you distribute it this way or you came up with another method?
no, I just did that.
Okay. So what's 5 times 3?
15.
15. Awesome. And then 5 times negative x is negative. Let's put them together side by side. So negative. Would that be 5x? What do you think?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. So that's negative 5x, right? Am I writing down your thoughts correctly? Okay.
Uh,
Kind of? Okay. So now let's do this together again. What's 2 times 3?
14.
So it's going to be 6, right? And then 2 times negative 2x will become negative. It's a negative 2x. Yep. Okay. Is equal to 14. Now, thanks, Chris, for helping me. Okay. Now, would anybody like to jump in and continue where Chris left off? So, Chris did the distributive property. Distributive property. Okay. Anyone? Yes. Okay, your name did not appear in my. What's your name, honey? Alyssa. All right, let's go, Alyssa. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. What do you guys think about Alyssa's work? Any comments, questions, clarifications? Okay. So let's write down the properties for Chris's and Alyssa's work. So started with the given, the distributive property. When Alyssa said she added the like terms together, so we're just going to put simplify because she was only working on one side of the equation. So if you're just staying on one side, that's not a property. It's just simplify or additive inverse or, and then she mentioned she subtracted 21 from both sides. So since she did it on both sides, then you know that's a property. So subtraction, property of equality. And then I remember she said she combined these two together and she got -7, right? So that's going to be simplify. If I want to be more specific, since I canceled the positive and the -21, I could also add, inverse or opposites, right? And then last but not the least, she divided by -7. So that's going to be division, property of equality. All right. Sorry for the shortcuts, guys, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pause and give you some, Q&A time. Okay.
This was the contribution to our digital notebook, right?
Yes, honey. So whichever is convenient for you. If you said you wrote on a notebook, so some students do like they take a picture of their notebook and then just paste it on their slide. So it's not like double job for them. You get what I mean? Because if you picture this right now and then you type it in, that takes time, right? So what they do is while they're working on their notebook, you know, they just write everything there, and then later on they take a picture and they paste it. In your digital notebook, you can delete the tables that I constructed. So if on your notebook it's already set up as two column, okay, and everything is there also, so just delete the tables I made and just paste your images. Okay. So the bottom line is we need to be able to kind of see each other's work so I can grade you for that. Are there any questions on this screen? I must say these are not the usual two-step, you know, more two or three-step equations. I have to kind of ramp up your game because you guys are in my honors class. Definitely, I have to be more, considerate of the questions that I place when I'm with my periods 3 and 4. I'm not saying I'm not giving them challenging questions, but I have to kind of scaffold for them some more. That doesn't mean you cannot ask questions because you're in the honors class. So please make sure that you ask me questions if you have any. Either unmute yourself or in the chat. No questions? Okay, I'm gonna clear this ink. If you're missing anything, please take a picture in the next 2 seconds because I'm gonna clear it. Ready. Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So it's 9:47. So I would like us to maybe I'm gonna ask you to choose only one that you would like to do. Um, just so I can also give you some independent time to do your homework. I mean IW. Okay. Now if we were to do one together, like which one would you like to do now? So I can help you with that. Anybody? Pick one. Okay. Nobody picks. I'll pick the last one. Yeah. Let's work on the last one together, and then um, the rest you can do. Um, in your own time. Okay, so again, we distribute negative 4. So that's negative 8m. And then negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20. But I don't do negative 4 to that. Okay, because there's already an operation. So that's one whole group. It has nothing to do with the negative 3m over here. So I have to download. I have to what do you call this? Copy the negative 3m, and that's equal to 35. So this is given, and this is distributive property. Okay. So I have to combine like terms. So same letter is m, common sign negative, so they get added together. Negative 11m, take away 20 equals 35. Okay. So that's going to be just simplifying. All right. And I think you can take it from there, right? So I can spend a little bit more time with the rest. Like I'll get them started so you guys wouldn't get stuck. So in this case, the variable is on the right hand side. So I got to do this again. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8 plus 3y. Okay? And then you're going to combine the like terms. So 13 equals, um, the 8 goes down, and then this becomes 1y. But if it's just 1y, just put y. And I am very particular with writing the answer in standard form. So when you get your final answer, the variable has to be on the left hand side. Okay. All right. Starting with the other two, just finish the remain. Oh, fill the gaps in between. So this will be 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. You bring down the 6, and then negative 9. Okay. Now combine like terms on one side, so this will become 9. There you go. All right. Then from there, you're going to subtract the 9 from both sides. So I'm going to leave that for you to complete. And then for the last one, it's 15 equals 5 plus, and here we go, we're going to distribute that again. 4 times 2d is 8d, and then 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And don't forget to change that to standard form again in the final answer. So 15 equals the 5 and the negative 12 together will become negative 7 plus 8d. Okay, you can take it from there, but make sure you have your final answer with the variable on the left hand side. Okay, I'm sorry I went, I think, 6 minutes over time today. The remaining time must be your independent work. Um, so, things for you to do, fill in the gaps. Okay, here, I'm going to clear the ink in a few so I can go back to my other screen. Um, okay, so clear ink. I'm going to read what's in the chat. Is there any assignments today? Is there a difference between cannot be determined and not a solution? Oh, okay. Is that in the other question in the warm? So it's not a solution if it doesn't make the equation true. So when you substitute it, if it doesn't make the equation true, then it's not a solution. Cannot be determined is if there's not enough information to come up with a conclusion. Okay, but I can tell you right now, there shouldn't be like cannot be determined there. Is there any assignments today, like homework? So finish this slide, Vincent. And if you haven't finished your interleave warm up, that's your homework as well. And then there's another homework in Delta Math, but that's not due until Monday. Okay. Um, I think it's just that little quick. Okay. Thanks for answering that. Which slide in the digital notebook is the homework on? Um, Honey, the first homework is here. You have to import this into your digital notebook. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry. I have Monday's design for intervention and for like enrichment as well. What's the number of the slide? You have to put this underneath our lesson yesterday, which has like the properties and the solving linear or solving simple equations. So if I confused you on that, I'm so sorry, but we'll talk about that on Monday. So I can tell you like where to put them on. But if you look at my digital notebook in Schoology, that's the one I want to show you right now. So I'm trying to in Schoology. I also place my digital notebook. So if you toggle between the pages, okay. So this was yesterday. If you're gonna import those, you have to place it there. So this must go to slide 12. So that means you go to slide 11 and then you make up and then you go to file and then import. I don't know if I help you with that, but if it was kind of confusing, I'm sorry, but I'll show you that on Monday. Okay. All right. So the agenda today starts from 12 and then 13 and 14 for these. And oh, that's it. Okay. All right. Um, all right. I'm going to stop the sharing. So, and I'm going to stop my